Padres pregame thoughts. Padres and the Mets game 2 of this series. Obviously, the Padres last night, they had an opportunity to win that game. They didn't. We'll see if they're going to be able to take the last 2 games of this series and they can feel better going into this All-Star break before they start that long 10-game road trip. 3-city road trip: Philly, Toronto, Detroit after the All-Star break. Tonight, Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres. I believe David Peterson on the mound for the New York Mets. With Blake Snell, my underdog fantasy pick for today, I'm going to go higher on the outs, 17.5 outs. I think he can get through 6 innings. The way he is pitching, he deserves to be an all-star. Alex Cobb and Kodai Senga, Cobb with the Giants, Senga with the Mets, they were named all-stars today. Replacements for some guys that won't be able to pitch in the All-Star game for the National League on Tuesday. And Snell has some better numbers than those guys. So I think that he's going to be motivated to pitch like an all-star again and just be motivated to shut down the Mets. Going back to that wild card series, if I remember correctly, he didn't have the best start in that game in New York in Game 2. Obviously, they lost that game facing DeGrom. Then they go to Game 3, and Musgrove wins that. But I think Snell could have been better in that game, and he's probably pissed off that he's not an all-star. And he also wants to bounce back after that last outing that he had against the Mets. That was the memorable outing, right? I forget if he pitched against the Mets earlier this year when they played in New York. But I know in the wild card series wasn't his best. So we'll see if he can be better in this outing against a New York Mets lineup that's pretty much the same as yesterday's lineup was. There's a lot of the same guys in there. And the Padres today, Ha-Seong Kim, he is out because he has that jammed toe, which is his fault because he kicked the water cooler after the game, obviously, or not after the game, during the game. Last night, obviously gets thrown out at third, unnecessary, trying to run to third there. Should have just took the double because you have Soto and Tatis and Manny coming up after that. But he tried to take 3, gets thrown out, and then he's pissed off at himself, and he kicks a water cooler that he thought was empty, and he ends up jamming his toe. So not in the lineup today, and that means that he's hurting the team. He didn't just hurt the team then, he hurts the team today as well because he's not in the lineup, and he's been one of the Padres' best players this year. So it's a double loss there. Matthew Batten, I guess, he gets an opportunity today. I guess that's a bright side of it for him. And Brandon Dixon, he is DHing, so no Matt Carpenter DHing. So you look at the bottom of the lineup and you see Dixon and Batten and Grisham, and it's like, oof, all right. So we're going to need the top of the lineup to come through here today. Maybe those guys will surprise us, but Tatis leading off, Soto hitting second, Manny hitting third, Bogarts hitting fourth, Sanchez, and then Cronenworth. Those are the guys that I think we're going to be looking at tonight and seeing what they do. Can they come through if, a couple guys get on base, there's runners in scoring position, can those guys come through? Because I don't think we should expect a whole lot from the bottom of the lineup tonight, to be honest. And bullpen-wise, I know a ton of guys pitched yesterday. How many relievers? 6, I think. 6 relievers. There was that extra inning. It was obviously an extra inning, so they had to pitch Cosgrove. They didn't want to pitch Cosgrove. I think he had pitched 5 times in the last 7 days, but they had to pitch him, so I would expect him not to pitch tonight. But Hader, he's available after having 2 days off, after pitching 3 days in a row. And then I would think everyone else is going to be available. We'll see if Alec Jacob gets in. He was called up from Double-A yesterday. Jose Castillo was sent down. He had a sub-2 ERA with the San Antonio Mission. So we'll see if he gets in and see how he does. Matt Waldron, obviously available. And I would think that Adrian Morejon is available. There's a lot of guys that are available. We'll see if the Padres, they have a lead late in this game, who are those high-leverage guys that they go to? 7, 8, 9th inning. Let's say Snell goes 6. Who's pitching the 7th? Is it going to be Tim Hill? Is it going to be Nick Martinez? Is it going to be Adrian Morejon? Would they trust Alec Jacob right out of the gate in his MLB debut to do that? I don't know. I don't think so. So we'll see. I think 8, 9. For now, it feels like it would be Garcia Hader or Hill Hader, just based on how some guys have pitched. But we'll see what happens there. Post-game reaction coming up after the game. Enjoy the game tonight.